Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Salute to the Sickos. This is Marcus, and with me today is Kelson. Kelson, how are you today?
Doing pretty good. Actually, that's a lie. I got injured today at work, so I'm hurting really bad right now. But I'm doing good because I didn't die.
Well, that's always a positive, always a positive. So, we here at Salute the Sickos love to talk about wrestling, and I kind of want to know how you got started watching wrestling.
Well, I was just a kid, and my father and my brother were fans of Georgia Championship Wrestling. I didn't live in Georgia. My father and my brother moved the family like about 3 months before I moved to Georgia. So at that time, they became fans of Georgia Championship Wrestling, and I just picked it up and fell in love with wrestling.
hmm Yeah, that's good to hear. We've had a lot of different people from a lot of different areas. I've never really gotten into Georgia Championship Wrestling myself. I don't remember it that much, but Who who is your Mount Rushmore, your favorite wrestlers? Who would you say those are?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm kind of an older guy, so my first and foremost, the guy who got me into wrestling, Mr. Wrestling number two,
Okay.
um, Georgia Championship Wrestling. Of course, he was wrestled in different regions, but I was kind of convinced. I was kind of convinced that he was my dad wearing a
Okay.
mask. He was a masked wrestler,
Yeah.
and I thought he was my dad. Of course, I was young and stupid. I still kind of think he was my dad because now I'm old and stupid.
Yeah.
Um, I after that, um, Tony Atlas. Back
Okay.
in those days, male wrestlers had basically dad bods, and I wasn't familiar with superstar Billy Graham yet. But
hmm
Tony Atlas was like a new breed, a big muscular guy that just looked different than anybody else. Um, from there, I was never a big Bret Hart fan or Shawn Michaels, that breed.
hmm
I kind of like Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Okay.
And I bet you nobody else said him. So I'm going to say
No.
Brutus the Barber Beefcake
Okay.
because he was the one that came out with, he had like this out of this world character.
Yeah.
And I appreciated that,
hmm
you know? So that was, that was that. Um, really for the modern era, because the guys I gave have all been kind of older.
hmm
I'm going to have to say, I'm going to go Will Ospreay. I mean, this is a guy that never has a match that disappoints me.
Yeah. He's done very very good so far, coming from New Japan to AEW, making the right choices. I
Yeah.
I haven't seen a bad match. There's been some weird story angles with him a few times that I remember, but he's always on on top of his game. So, do you have a favorite match of all time?
Uh, this is going to sound stupid, but my go-to match is Bill Goldberg against Hollywood Hulk Hogan at the Georgia Dome, WCW.
hmm
The crowd was so ready for it, and it's just memorable. There was a lot of memorable matches, and that wasn't the best match.
hmm
It was, as far as like technical wrestling or whatever, but it was just a memorable match, which makes it a best match.
Yeah, yeah. So let's get into your AEW fandom. Were you a fan from the beginning, or did you come in later, or when did you come in?
Kind of both. Um, I did not watch the original All In. I wasn't even aware of it.
hmm
Um, I was sitting on my couch on I think it was didn't Dynamite start on Tuesdays?
I want to say yes, but I don't. I think so.
Whatever the night the first Dynamite was on, my nephew walked by and he said, "Hey, there's this new thing called All Elite Wrestling. It's coming on TV tonight, and you may want to watch it." Because at that point, I had not watched wrestling for like 18 years. I mean, not even one show.
Yeah.
I'd been to some house shows, but not watched it on TV.
hmm
And I turned it on and I liked it. And then, life happened. And at that time, I had just purchased a new business and I was really, really busy with that. And I think from the first episode or two that I watched, I liked it, but I stopped watching it. And it was maybe 2021. I started watching it again.
Mm-hmm.
Now I've gone back and watched all the matches, of course,
Mm-hmm.
but I would say I lapsed for about 2 years because I was just so in tune with not watching professional wrestling anymore.
Yeah, so you kind of skipped the pandemic era, right?
Yeah, like the whole Hikaru Shida Women's World Wrestling reign, I didn't see it.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things.
Yeah, I agree. So so you kind of watched from there now. n- And, and now, did you watch any New Japan that kind of helped understand who some of these people were that were coming in?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
As a matter of fact, yeah, I mean, you're on our podcast. I am not a New Japan fan.
Mm-hmm.
I respect the heck out of what they do. It's just that there's the strong style.
Yeah,
It doesn't really mesh with me. I
yeah, I agree.
I try to support them. I buy their pay-per-views and I sleep through them. I'm not a fan. And I'll go back and I'll say, if you were to ask me, what is your favorite and your least favorite pay-per-view, I would say Forbidden Door because I just do not like New Japan.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say, oh, you're stupid for liking New Japan. It's just not for me. If it's for somebody else,
Mm-hmm.
if it is for somebody else, great. I I can't be offended by somebody that likes something else
Yeah,
than I do.
I agree.
You know, so
I agree.
um, yeah. So that's about it.
Do you have
Um,
a? Sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
So do you have you besides Will Ospreay? Do you have a guy you love in AEW or gal?
Uh, you know what? I'm not. I'm going to kind of dodge that question a little bit, but I'm going to say this. One of the things that I like about AEW the most is I appreciate the veteran wrestlers like Chris Jericho and John Moxley and Kenny Omega. They're fantastic. I'm not saying anything negative about them at
Mm-hmm.
all, but one of the things that really got me interested in AEW to begin with was watching the new young wrestlers. I like watching the young women and the young men
Mm-hmm.
much more over you know, wrestlers that are veterans.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not saying that I don't enjoy them or their matches. I really, really like watching these young kids come up.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's some great stars that are coming up. I think AEW is last year has hired a lot better younger wrestlers, and they're not as into the established stars. Like Kenny Omega, people want to have another reign. I just don't see why he needs another reign when he's had his chance. And there are so many younger guys who could use a reign to.
Well, yeah, I don't see why he needs another reign, but then again, I don't see why any wrestler needs a reign. If it's
Hmm.
part of a good story, there's your why.
Hmm. Yeah,
It comes down to that. If it's something that fans can get behind, there's your why.
it's very good concept. So you've been around AEW long enough. We've done the podcast for a while. What do you think is one thing that AEW needs to work on?
Boy, let me think on that. Well, telegraphing.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
right now, as we're recording this, we're heading into the finals
Hmm.
of the Owen Hart Foundation Cup tournament. Now, Will Ospreay's already reached the finals. We have not seen the match between Swerve Strickland and Brody King yet.
Hmm.
But does it really matter? Because when they announced the Owen Hart, right, before they even announced who was in it, everybody on the podcast, I don't think there was anybody that's on the podcast that didn't say, well, it's Will Ospreay's to win. He's going to be fighting for the world championship at All In.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean by telegraphing. When you telegraph something like that, it kind of takes the matches are still great, but it kind of takes the mystery
Mm-hmm.
out of the matches, and that's part of wrestling to me is the mystery. And they kind of AEW kind of didn't do that with this.
Yeah,
That's the weakest thing that AEW has done, and they've done it many times.
I agree. Uh, with this latest, I'm w- with the women's own. I feel the same way. I'm hoping it's not the way that I think it's going to go, but with Mercedes winning it again. But I don't know. That's what a lot of people are saying now. I don't know, but it's just not that. There's a lot of storylines of everybody knew that MJF was going to get that title back.
Well, I will say this, NK. When I last night or early this morning, I made a post on the AEW Fan Hub subreddit where I did say that Mercedes was going to win the Women's Owen Hart Foundation Cup. However, I also fantasy booked all the way through All In and what is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And, even though Mercedes may win it, I think the story is a lot more interesting leading up to All In than it is with Will Ospreay.
Okay.
Because Will Ospreay, All In is his end game. If Mercedes wins the Owen, that's not her end game, and All In isn't her end game. Don't forget, we've got a pay-per-view called Forbidden Door coming up.
Mm-hmm.
We've got and that's where I believe the finals of the Owen Hart tournament is.
Mm-hmm.
We've also got AEW Redemption,
Mm-hmm.
and I think there's a good story there for Mercedes and the women's division because Tekla is really AEW Redemption seems like it's focused on Tekla just by the name,
Yeah.
right? But what's Will Ospreay going to do at Redemption? And
Well,
does anybody care what Will Ospreay's going to
no,
do at Redemption?
no.
It's all in for him, and that's 2 months away.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah. I kind of agree. So I want to do a new little segment called Thumbs Up, Thumbs Down. And I'm going to give you certain things about AEW, and you tell me if you're giving it a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
Okay. I have to tell you because you won't be able to see my thumb.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
I agree.
That was stupid.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
it's okay. I forgive you. I forgive you. So, uh, uh, AEW men's division.
What about
The,
just in general?
the roster, the storylines.
Uh, thumbs up. Thumbs up, but a little bit leading horizontally, almost a little bit at this
Okay,
point.
kind of man. Yeah, I kind of agree a little bit. It has some ups and downs. Women's division.
Thumbs up, but they could do better as well. With the women's division, I'm a big fan of women's wrestling, as you well know. Whether it's AEW, Stardom, or anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
TJPW. Just got done watching the Pro Wrestling Eve
Mm-hmm.
pay per view. Um, the thing with the women's division is they've got to book them. How can you say give me an absolute thumbs up when they're getting one match a week
Yeah.
or one match a show? They've got to get them. And that's why I'm excited about. That's why I'm kind of enthusiastically hoping with a thumbs up here because you got the Owen
Mm-hmm.
still going on. You got the 6 qualifying matches
Mm-hmm.
for the survival of the fittest match. Plus, you got some pretty cool stories going on with Tekla. So
Yeah.
I do think that there's going to be something to be more enthusiastic with the thumbs up with the women's division.
Yeah, I made a comment about that Thekla might actually make Forbidden Door interesting, and I got some pretty heavy comments against me on that one. But that's
Yeah, well, it's the way you said it. When you say stuff on text or
yeah.
text messaging on a phone or posting on the internet.
Hmm.
Sometimes what your intention was doesn't translate. I
Yeah.
guess.
Well, I've never gotten into Forbidden Door like you've said. I think it's been glorified exhibition show where Japanese wrestlers normally lose, and it's just not been good. But maybe this is something where Tekla they can lead into a storyline where multiple Japanese wrestlers come over and say, have matches with her leading up to someone big and at Forbidden Door.
Well, Tekla was part of the group Hate in Stardom. Now she's in the Triangle of Madness.
Mm-hmm.
When Tekla assumed her idol killer persona in Stardom, she targeted Cosmic Angels.
Mm-hmm.
And when Tekla's promo aired, on Dynamite this past week, a lot of the Cosmic Angels and other members of Stardom were, pretty upset about it.
Mm-hmm.
In kayfabe, of course, but pretty upset about it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be surprised if it's Triangle of Madness against Cosmic Angels or some other type of group or a mixture of groups over at Stardom at Forbidden Door. I am not thinking that it's going to be Tekla against somebody from Stardom one-on-one. I think it's going to be a group match at Forbidden Door, because don't forget, we still have All In, and before that, Redemption.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. Yeah, I think it's that. That was one moment last week where honestly I haven't seen in a while, and that was my oh shit moment because I didn't see that coming. I think it made a statement. I haven't thought that way since Tony Storm left. So,
Right. Yeah. It was very subdued. It was like subliminal, but
mm-hmm.
it had an impact. It had
Yeah,
more of an impact after the show than it did during the show.
yeah. So going back to thumbs up, thumbs down. How do you feel about the title scene right now? Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Um, Thumbs up. I like that the titles seem to be changing hands more, and I like that the titles are being defended more. All titles are
Mm-hmm.
being defended. I mean, we were going 2 months without the trios title being defended.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a bit hesitant because some people are saying, "Oh, they're going to unify the titles, the the international and the continental titles are going to be unified, and the unified belt will come back." And I really do not want to see
I don't
the
either.
AEW Unified Championship ever again.
I don't either.
So, if anything, what's different? I've said this before, and I'll say it again. What's the difference between the international and the continental title? Get rid of one.
Yeah.
Make it. I will say this: unify it, make it the unified belt, and then just get rid of the other two. I can handle that.
Yeah.
So that's my opinion on that. I am a little nervous about that. People say AEW has too many belts.
Mm-hmm. I don't think they do. But...
I think they need to get rid of the trios title, like they got rid of the Travel said the FTW title.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of meaningless.
Yeah.
And ROH has 6-man.
Yeah.
And so there's no need for it in AEW.
Yeah. I agree. Thumbs up or thumbs down on Tony Khan.
Big thumbs up. I think he's doing everything the right way. And he's not advertising in it. So like a good example is Rebel. Somebody made a comment on the AEW fandom subreddit that Tony Khan needs to support Rebel more. Rebel has said that since she's been ill, Tony Khan has given her nothing but support. She didn't say as much, but I guarantee you Tony Khan's paying for everything.
Yeah.
She is unfortunately well taken care of. And when I say unfortunately, it's because she's in the situation she's in, which nobody should be in the situation that she's in.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I would love to see a cure happen for ALS. I really do. I feel bad for her and anybody who has that disease.
By the way, did you see that there was a picture? Mick Foley visited Rebel today
No, I haven't
with
seen that.
Britt Baker.
Really? Really?
So, good on Mick Foley. Mick Foley isn't just AEW as like a part-time guy that comes. He's actually out there
Yeah.
being AEW. So, I'm happy for Mick Foley and what he's doing.
So speaking of Mick Foley, how do you feel about him coming in? You think it's going to be great for AEW? Do you think it's just going to be whatever? Or how do you feel?
I think it's going to be great for AEW. I do want to say this, that there's a lot of talk about Mick Foley and his politics and him being hypocritical or whatever. I don't care about that. I'm watching professional wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And politics to me has absolutely no place in professional wrestling.
Yeah.
Professional wrestling's escapism. I watch it to get away from
Yeah.
some of the stuff. I personally, I admire Brody King for wearing the T-shirt that he wore,
Mm-hmm.
but part of me, it's a small part because I'm very passionate about the F-Ice thing,
Mm-hmm.
but a small part of me was like, well, let's keep this out of wrestling. That's why I was so happy that he made these T-shirts available,
Mm-hmm.
and proceeds went to the families affected,
Yeah.
which eased the blow a little bit, I guess.
Yeah. It also gave, I don't know, it gave AEW some press, but I don't know if it was good press, bad press, but it got some publicity out of it.
It was press. Any press is good press, but Mick
Yeah.
Foley thumbs up.
So, last question I have for you, real quick, is what do you see the trajectory of AEW being? Because right now, I think since 2025, really, since they got on HBO, they really turned up the heat. But I think after Double or Nothing, I don't know why I said Double In, uh, that they've really turned up the heat again, and it's getting more exposure. And some people even think that with both ratings, they're equaling up to probably 1.2 million. I mean, do you think it's going to keep on growing?
Absolutely. I think AEW is on an upswing. And look, let's just face facts here. WWE is shitting the bed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're so corporate. They're and don't get me wrong. I want WWE to do really well. I want AEW and TNA and Stardom and New Japan and Tokyo Joshi Pro and Noah and all these companies. I want them to do well. To me, I watch what I watch, but what other people watch has no bearing on what I watch.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can still watch what I watch, and if somebody else is enjoying something else, that has nothing to do with me. And I think Tony Khan realizes that.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the criticisms that I see all the time is that AEW is nothing like WWE, even like when WWE was hot, which wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
Okay. My point is that if AEW was just like WWE, what's the point of having AEW?
Yeah.
So I want AEW to be different in many ways
Mm-hmm.
from WWE. And that has nothing to do with disliking WWE, which I don't. It's
Yeah.
just that I want AEW to be different. Just the same as I want TNA to be different and for CMLL to be different and et cetera. See,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's the point.
Do you think Tony Khan, when WWE is in Saudi Arabia, do you think he should do a big, big show with like a week long thing like people want him to?
Absolutely. And it has nothing to do with AEW competing with WWE. That's not the point. The point is that a lot of these smaller companies depend. I mean, look at how many TJPW does WrestleMania week shows
Mm-hmm.
in the United States in the same vicinity like Las Vegas this year. I mean, Stardom was there. God, you name the company, they were probably there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're not going to be there this year. They're not going to go to Saudi Arabia and make a show.
Yeah.
There's nothing for them there.
Mm-hmm.
So AEW, Tony Khan should put out a show in April, whatever. It could be at the same time as WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
It could be the week before. It could be whatever,
Mm-hmm.
But he's got. I think it would go far for his relationships with the other companies and with the wrestlers
Mm-hmm.
of other companies saying, "Hey, this guy cares," and it shouldn't be promoted as, "Look what we're doing. We're doing something that WWE should have done," instead of
Yeah.
going over to get blood money from from Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
That's meaningless. What I'm saying is, you're taking care of professional wrestlers and professional wrestling fans by
Yeah.
keeping a big week in the United States or in North America or whatever you want to say.
Yep. Yep. I agree. I really hope they do. I think it's time to. get people together, do huge conventions for that week, and just let it play out. Like whoever wants to go to whatever wants to show, and that's that. We need more of that in
I
professional
agree.
wrestling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. You know, I mean, look, I say the same thing if it was AEW going over to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
WWE would absolutely have to do a show
Yeah.
where they got all these groups together and worked. You know, it's not anti WWE. What I'm saying, it's pro wrestling.
Yes, I agree. Well, Kelson and I enjoyed our time together. Hope to see you back sometime. We can figure out some other things to talk about. It's been good. Do you have anything else to say to the AEW universe? You can promote your podcast, or the Reddit, or whatever you want to do.
Well, AEW Fan Hub on Reddit. We're on all social media. And I don't really need to promote the podcast because just go to AEW Fan Hub. Look up AEW Fan Hub. You'll see us on Blue Sky and X and Instagram and Threads and at AEW Fan Hub on YouTube. And of course, the EPW or the Everything Pro Wrestling Hub Discord.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're everywhere. I mean, we just did a count of the heads of our members, and even though people look at the AEW Fan Hub subreddit, which is like it's 16,200 members, which
Mm-hmm.
is pretty small compared to some of the bigger,
So yeah.
you know, uh, subreddits,
Mm-hmm.
out there. But if you add in our social media
Yeah.
and our other subreddits, so we have women's pro wrestling subreddit. We have all elite subreddit, greatness of wrestling. Again, I told you we have all the social media. We're over 115,000 strong. So the AEW Fan Hub subreddit is like 10% of what we do.
Mm-hmm.
And we're here to have fun. We're not here for discourse. We're not here to bash WWE. We're AEW fans, and you can say positive, negative, as long as you're constructive, as long as you're civil, and you're posting in good faith.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. That's all we ask. We're not trying to edit people out and censor people from saying what they really feel, but it is kind of how you say things as well.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. I agree. And people are allowed to agree or disagree. I don't care if I get downvoted. It doesn't hurt my feelings at all. So,
Well, I can tell you, MK, I'm a moderator on all these areas, and I have been called. I one of these days I'm gonna have to start a scoreboard to see if I'm the male anatomy or the female anatomy, because I get called those names at
mm-hmm.
least 5 times a week from people that,
Yeah.
frankly speaking, should never be on a wrestling subreddit.
Yeah.
So you think you're hurting my feelings?
You're not. Yeah.
No, you're
Yeah.
just making it easy for me to mute you and ban you, so I don't ever have to see or hear from you again.
I agree. All right. Well, thank you for your time, and I'll see you next time.
Ciao.